Hello everyone, welcome back to the Drone Wars. I believe this is episode 13 if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. Yep, this is episode 13. So looking at the board here, we got a couple interesting things. So of course there are 4 planets left to discover, and of course lots of factions here are trying to take over the entire board. There's a couple interesting situations here. I mean, the Alliance over there, they're not doing so well. They barely have any planets left and they're being taxed by both sides. The Federation is doing extremely well. They have a good chunk of the galaxy to themselves over here. And the Great Red Sun Empire is also in a similar boat where they have a really good chunk of the galaxy over there to themselves, and they also are taking over a little bit of Delta Shipyards areas from within, which is going to be a big problem for Delta Shipyards if they can't figure out how to solve that soon. The Pirate Empire is kind of just over here in a corner, and they're going to figure out how to expand. Um, we're going to go through all the factions one by one, as usual, and we're going to see if any interesting battles or anything happen today. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. I'll see you guys when something interesting happens. Alright, here we are, back on the board, and well, the Alliance decided they're going to try to expand a little bit, so they've sent one of their largest fleets up here, over there. They've turned that mining world into their own sorry, it was a colony world and they turned it into their own mining world. So now the Alliance has at least a little more income, and hopefully that can help them with defending themselves a little bit as well. They do need to deal with the fleet that's up there and the other fleet surrounding over here. And of course to defend this shipyard a little bit, they've also decided to send one of their smaller fleets up, well, all the way over here to the Pertan Plateaus planet, where these two fleets here are going to be battling. And of course this is a shipyard planet, so it's definitely great for them to take this out as soon as possible. So, well, we got a Sparrow Corvette and a handful of fighters versus basically 5 corvettes. We're going to go and see how this battle goes. Alright, here we are at the plateaus. Of course the sun is rising over there, so that's going to be neat. But what we're really looking after here is that this is going to be a tournament type battle. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn in the ships that we need. I've already numbered all the ships as usual, and we're going to go ahead and throw them here. Because this is a really high elevation, some of these ships are going to really struggle to fly, if they even can fly here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to be an enemy here. And then I'm going to go ahead and, let's see here, turn these on because we need that, and I'm going to go ahead and declare war. I'm going to spawn in the first ship from the Great Red Sun Empire's fleet. That was to be expected. Alright, let me just take that one fighter off the roster, and we're going to go ahead and get the next fighter. If it can still fly, it's going to go into combat. If not, it's just going to fall. Okay, yeah, that ship can't fly anymore. Collisions to the ground are typically kind of fatal. Oh, and it completely eliminated the fire, so that's one ship down from both fleets. Well, technically 2 for the Red Sun Empire. So they got another fighter here. And it's mostly fighters versus corvettes, so it's very unfair for the Red Sun Empire here. Also, they do have a small chance because those corvettes are really bad at flying in atmosphere here. This atmosphere is very brutal for their thrusters. Yep, that's not flying anymore. So that's one ship eliminated from both sides. Okay, now we get into more interesting territory. I don't know how well these are going to fare against each other because the gravity here is very, very high. I should just turn down the volume real quick because it is very loud. Actually, I might be a little bit too quiet. So already here we can see these corvettes slowly taking off, trying to get some distance from each other. So the gravity might take this one out as he's trying his best to stay in the air. This corvette over here is much lighter, so it should be a bit easier for him to fly. But this corvette here looks like it's falling. Now it looks like they've both fallen to the ground. If I still have keep original ownership, I can paste them to the air and see if they're still capable of flights. If they're still capable of flight, then we let them continue battling. If they're not capable of flight, then they're out. Okay, that corvette there is still alive. Although it did just slam into a wall there at full speed. Ouch. It seems like this corvette here, I don't know if it can still fly or not. It's definitely trying. So I'm going to go and remove the dart, or basically all this debris. I mean, from what it looks like, this corvette here is trying to fly, but I don't think it's really capable of flight right now. Yeah, no, this thing cannot fly anymore. So we're going to go ahead and spawn in another K4 fighter, which should be the last ship. Here we go. And of course that ship crashes into the ground. If it's still capable of flight, then it should be able to get back up and go back to the fight. It's definitely trying. Yep, it's still airborne. I'm going to just remove this from the roster, and that fighter is definitely going to try doing a lot of damage here. And well, the fighter basically took out its critical thrust systems. So one more corvette out of the fight here. And then the last ship is just another dart. So it's just the last ship versus the last ship. Whoever wins this fight is the winner of the battle. fighter narrowly avoids that torpedo. He's definitely trying. That Corvette just slams it to the ground there. Is this Corvette still flight worthy? I'm actually just going to paste it a little bit more in the air and see if it can still fly. No, it is not. Of course, this fighter is also... Well, actually, that fighter is still alive. So technically, what that means is that the Black Fleet won this battle, which is interesting. Alright, I'll return back to the board and I'll update it. That was actually kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting the group of fighters to actually be able to win this fight, but I guess the gravity here kind of evened the odds a bit. Alright. Alright, we're back at the board, and some more interesting things have happened. So, the Alliance over here, they have expanded over here, basically cutting this planet off from the rest of the Federation. And of course, they tried to expand over there, but they failed. They failed to push back the Great Red Sun Empire. Pertan was a really difficult planet to take over. They've also decided to build in their fleet all the way up there. So now they have another smaller fleet, 10 ships, mostly just corvettes and fighters. So the Federation, what they've decided to do, they've decided to move one of their carrier fleets over there, so that way, well, the pirates are going to have a more difficult time trying to take over Federation territory through there. The Federation also wants to reconnect these planets, so they've taken their fleet at the corner over here, and they're going to move it down to try taking on this large fleet over here. Which I don't know if it's going to go very well for the Federation, but we're going to see what happens here. Alright, here we are. We're in the Earth-like snow area again. And, well, this is going to be a capital ship battle. What that means is that the largest ship in either fleet is going to have a health bar, and if that ship is completely defeated, then the entire fleet loses. So essentially it's defend your carrier, in a way. So over here we got this massive fleet over here. We got their carrier, their battleship, their corvette, then of course the fighters, and then the fighters that were added because of the carriers and their capability of carrying additional fighters. While in the distance over here we have, well, we have the Wanderer cruiser, a frigate, and then over here we got an Iron Wing. So we're going to go and declare war and see how this goes. While that's going on, I'm going to double check that that these are on. There we go. There's already a lot of long-range missiles being fired here. Lots of torpedoes as well. Point defenses are going to start coming off of all these ships. Here comes torpedoes as well. Alright, a little bit of damage has been done. Not enough to actually lower health, but it's there. Lots of shots coming in. These ships are trying to dodge, trying to do whatever they can. And now they're getting in range to be able to fire their other weapons. You can see the corvettes and the fighters are now slowly starting to move in now. This frigate is not doing particularly well against that amount of firepower. The corvette is also starting to get into range. That corvette will do pretty good at anti-fighter. However, that carrier is going to do whatever it can to take him out. There it goes, firing as much rapid fire weaponry as it can. All the weapons and stuff just going off here. That frigate isn't doing too well. And now that cruiser is starting to get into range as well, firing in all directions, trying to take out all his missiles. They really need to do something about all these fighters. I think that frigate is definitely going down. You can see the fighters are now just firing away. Okay, the carrier is taking a little damage, but it's not much. The missiles on this cruiser are doing whatever they can to take out as many of these smaller ships as possible. But it really isn't looking too good. And I believe over here the corvette is also falling down. Yeah, that corvette is taking out a battleship. Seems like the cruiser here is falling. It's going to be a very large explosion at this rate. There he goes, he dropped in health as he hit the ground. This carrier over here is definitely trying to go after that corvette. I think that corvette's done for. Okay, the cruiser has gone back up. It's doing whatever it can to take out these fighters. There are missiles coming from literally all directions. Uh-oh, there's a lot of torpedoes going in his direction. He's going to take a massive hit from this if he isn't careful. No, those torpedoes are actually going after the corvette. There's like pretty much nothing left of it. And that carrier is pretty much just making sure of that. Alright, the cruiser is down to half health. Still trying to deal with all these fighters. Yep, it seems like the other ships are now coming in to take on the cruiser, which is still trying its best to take out all these fighters. Fighters and corvettes. Dart isn't looking too good, but it's still trying to do whatever damage it can. Whatever fighters are left are still trying to do whatever they can. They really need to take out that Corvette as soon as possible. Yeah, the missiles coming off of that Corvette are not helping at all. But it should be crashing down to the ground here in a little bit. Yep, there it goes. So now all these other ships here are going to be doing their best. Seems like the Myrmidon has collided with the ground here. Might still be capable of flight, maybe. You can see over here the carrier is doing whatever it can to get a little bit closer, taking out these missiles. It's also firing its own missiles off into the distance here. Trying to dig himself out of the hole, doing whatever damage he can. It seems he's wedged himself into the floor here pretty well, so he's going to need to figure out a way to escape this. If he even can. He's doing whatever he can to finish off all the rest of these fighters on the floor here. And of course, it seems to be a bit of a long-distance battle here. That battleship isn't looking too good. I don't think it can still fly anymore. Seems like most of its thrusters seem to be somewhat disabled here. So that's not great. I mean, it's trying to turn around. Maybe he can get his cannons to do some damage. In the meantime, this carrier here seems to be still trying to do whatever it can. Might be in my best interest here just to delete all this debris. So I'll do a quick debris cleanup here. Yep, seems like both ships have now noticed that a cruiser in the distance are still trying to go towards them. Oh, and there's a lot of torpedoes coming in this direction. down to 15% health. 12%. At this point, this cruiser is barely even alive. It seems like the cruiser is basically down. That's the end of this battle. It's just been completely torn to shreds. I think the only ship that survives this battle might be the carrier, because that battleship is no longer able to fly. Yeah, so it's just the carrier. So that put a sizable dent in the Alliance's forces. However, the Alliance still has their very powerful carrier that will take down a lot of the Federation's ships if they're not careful. Alright, well, the Federation failed to take over that planet over there, but with their last turn, they're going to try and at least take one more planet. So over here, the Federation is sending one of their weakest fleets, which is literally just a single cruiser. They're sending it over here to the Salos Canyons, and they're going to be fighting this fortress world. So we're going to see how that goes. Alright, here we are. We're on Salos. Let me actually set to daytime so this battle will be a little more interesting here. There we go. So right over here we have a single Wanderer cruiser, and off in the distance we have the fortress that is going to be fighting against it. Alright, let's go ahead and declare war here, and we're going to see what happens. Alright, so that cruiser is going to immediately go to the side here and slowly go towards the enemy. I think he's trying to hide behind some cover here, which would be really helpful. Oh, he just narrowly dodged that. Those mountains there might become a problem for him if he decides to slide into it there. He needs to climb those mountains and not slam into them. It looks like he's not going to do very well on that front. Nope, he's just going to collide with the hill here. I think his AI just cannot detect the enemy there because of the fact he's so, yeah, so let me just move him to where he can actually get towards the enemy there. There we go. He's firing away with everything he's got, taking all these weapons. And the same way, these weapons are going to try doing as much damage to him as they can. They're definitely starting to pierce through. Now it seems like all the weapons on here have been completely defeated. Yeah, the cruiser was able to single-handedly take down that fortress. So that's unfortunate. Well, I'm going to go back to the board and update that. Alright, here we are. So after the Federation basically took over that Alliance planet, Delta Shipyards over here, they decided to build up another fleet, a very large fleet consisting of another battleship, some cruisers, corvettes, and some fighters, so that's neat. They decided to move their carrier fleet, which is much smaller. They decided to move that up and try to deal with their internal problem over here. So right over here, they're dealing with that shipyard immediately. So pretty much we're going to take this fleet, take them against those two fighters, and if they win, they take over this world and they stop the threat of that shipyard. So we're going to go and see how that goes. Alright, here we are in the Salos crater. So it's going to be a pretty straightforward battle. It's another tournament type battle, which means that, well, the Great Red Sun Empire doesn't even stand a chance. They only have two fighters left. So I'm going to go and spawn one of their fighters right here. Let's store it right over there. And let's go and grab the first ship, which is going to be a Viper. If they manage to take out this Viper, I'll be very surprised, but this is going to be really short, probably. It seems like that Corvette seems to have fallen a little bit here and ruined pretty much all its upwards thrusters. That gives the fighter a major advantage, but those missiles and stuff might be a problem. Yep. I don't think either of these are going to be taken off anytime soon, so I'm going to remove both of them. Don't know how they managed to get the Corvette to crash like that, but whatever happens. So now we move on to the next set of ships here, which is also going to be a pretty much the same thing. Another fighter versus another Corvette. Almost immediately there's a collision. Both ships are trying to get into the air here at a safe enough distance to actually start attacking each other. take a look at this from the fighter's point of view. So this fighter's going to try to stay in the air. That fighter might actually get pushed out of the arena at this rate. Fighter's trying to aim down low enough to be able to fight back. At this point, that Corvette is trying to stay out of the fighter's range. Oh, they've pretty much divided the fighter into two pieces now. I don't even think this fighter can fight back. I don't think it has any weapons that can actually do anything. Yeah, all of its weapons are basically taken out, I think. They might be. Yeah, that fighter is out. Alright, well, that's the end of that battle. It was very short and quick, and that shipyard is now taken over by Delta Shipyards, so they don't have to deal with that imminent threat anymore. That could have gone way worse. Alright. Alright, well, we're back at the board after that. So, Delta very quickly took care of that shipyard, which is fantastic. They don't have a threat directly next to their homeworld anymore, which means they keep their homeworld safe and sound. And they decide to send another one of their fleets to take care of their other shipyard right over here. So now the Great Red Sun Empire over there no longer has shipyards in these quadrants, which is neat. They still have this one planet here in the middle, but this planet here cannot produce any ships. It's just a fortress world. So Delta's just ignoring that for now because they can't really do anything. That means that the Great Red Sun Empire is kind of just stuck in their corner over here. They're going to need to figure out a way to expand again. And Delta, they've been feeling kind of lucky after hunting down 2 shipyards. So they've decided to take one of their battleship fleets, and they're going to go and take on the Federation, like just straight on. So they've decided to go from here and go straight to the Salos Valley here. And how do I even put this? They're going after a fortress world, but they have to fight a battleship and some corvettes and stuff first. So that's going to be very interesting. We're going to go and see how that goes. Alright, here we are, another tournament, so this is going to be interesting. The Federation versus Delta Shipyards. Didn't think these two would be fighting today, but here we are. So of course, up first, it's going to be a battleship versus a battleship, which is going to be insane. Let me go and set these up. One battleship right here. And then we're going to set up the other battleship. Right over here. We're going to go ahead and quickly set this one up. And now the battle begins. So right off the bat, their shields are doing everything that they can. There's a lot of gunfire coming off of that Therion, and that Wander is trying to go up as best it can. And Therion's going to need to find a way to get up if it wants to continue this battle. Or it can just drag along the ground there, taking a lot of damage from the floor. Those cannons are going to do a lot of damage. Therion's still not getting the hint to get into the air there. Seems that the warrior is really trying to take advantage of the height here. All those missiles are basically distracting its turrets, which are trying its best to do its anti-missile defense. All those railguns are going to keep trying to pierce the hull of the other battleship. A lot of damage being done. I think the entire engine section just exploded there. All the cannon fire coming off of that battleship is really doing a number on this other ship. There's only so much it can really do at this point, because most of its weapons are being taken out. Still trying to fight back with whatever it has left. Yeah, there's nothing this Therion can do to fight back against a warrior, so I'll call it the end of this little match here. Let's go and just remove all of this, except for that battleship. There we go. And then let's go ahead and spawn the next ship in, which sadly is just a fighter. missiles are doing a ton of damage. He's just trying to get into range to use his weapons again. Oh, he just disintegrated. Okay, so that's that fighter gone, and now it's time for the next ship. Seems like a lot of the hydrogen systems here just turned off temporarily. I know, easy fix for that. It's either that or wait for another hydrogen thruster to get damaged, and it should start flying up again. In the meantime, this Corvette is taking a massive amount of damage from all those cannons. Yep, there's nothing left of it. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can fix this hydrogen issue here, because it seems like all the thrusters have basically turned off. Just a known glitch in Space Engineers. It's easy to fix. And just like that, the hydrogen systems are back online. So I can go back to the battle here. It's going to move all this debris. And now we go back to the fighters. There we go. Nope, that fighter pretty much disintegrated again. And then there's only one fighter left. So far, it seems like the Federation is significantly more powerful than what Delta Shipyards has expected. Yep. Yeah, the Federation has taken no casualties whatsoever. Their battleship is still online and functional. And, well, unfortunately, Delta Shipyards lost their battleship and an entire fleet, so we're going to go back to the board and update that, and then we're going to move on to see what the pirates are up to. Well then, a lot has really happened. So, the pirates down here, they decided to just build up some more fleets, move stuff around a little bit. Not much really happened. I mean, they gained, I think, one planet, and that was about it. But, yeah, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, so they have one extra planet now. They just sent a fleet from their homeworld, just fighters, and they just moved it out this way, into Delta Shipyards territory. So that means their homeworld is at least a little bit more safe. That gives them, of course, that bonus, that extra 1 million currency they get each round. The Great Red Sun Empire over here, they've been pretty busy. What they've decided to do is they've decided to play extremely aggressive again. So they've sent one of their fleets since the Alliance lost their fleet over here, they have decided to send the remaining fighter, I think, all the way over here, taking yet another planet from them, turning that into a fortress world. They decided to use a ton of their money to upgrade the shipyard up to level 2, so now they can make 10 ships at a time there if they really wanted to. That makes them significantly more dangerous. That also gives them the ability to kind of just spread out over here a lot easier. And they're trying to push the Alliance completely out of their original quadrant. So they've taken their fleet up there and they're going to attack this one planet right here. There's just one flaw with that plan. This single planet has two extremely large fleets, both belonging to the Alliance. So you can see a battleship fleet and a corvette fleet. And of course they're just in 3 fighters, so they completely did not expect that at all. And yeah, we're going to go over to the moon fields and we're going to see how that goes. Trying to take on a shipyard isn't really the best idea when there's a lot of ships at said shipyard. Alright, here we are, on the moon, in the fields, and unfortunately, to make things even worse for the Great Red Sun Empire here, this is a tournament type battle, which means the ships are fighting one by one, and they only sent fighters. Luckily for them, the first thing they'll be fighting is also a fighter, but after that, it's pretty much just going straight up to the battleship, so, oh boy, they're not gonna last very long here. These two ships are going to try to get away from each other first. Seems like one of the fighters is struggling a little bit to try to figure out how to leave the ground. Well, that was a very short battle. Now it ramps straight up to the battleship. And of course, in these tournament type battles, we're not counting the fighters that these ships carry. So, yeah, it's just this one battleship versus that fighter. Still gonna try to fight back, even though there's only half a fighter left. Alright, that's the first loss for the Red Sun Empire. Now it's time for the next ship they brought, which is also a fighter, and they only have this fighter and one other fighter. Man, that really caught the Great Red Sun Empire by surprise. They only have one more fighter left in this fleet. The good news is that with this fleet gone, they could just make another fleet to replace it and hopefully get some bigger ships. Because these fighters can only really do so much. Wow, that died instantly. Right, well, that's that. Alright, so now we're back at the board. The Great Red Sun Empire failed to push the Alliance out of their quadrant here. That means they've lost their fleet over here, and that means they're more open to attack. I think that's the end of their aggressive tactics, because what they've done is they've, I think, yeah, they took one planet, they upgraded, and they tried attacking another planet, and they failed, so yeah, they used all their turns. So now we're at the end of the video here, so we're just going to go over how all the factions are doing here. I mean, the Alliance here is not doing so great. They're at their last 4 planets. They're really struggling to keep hold of their territory. They've successfully defeated the Federation fleet over here, so they can take that planet pretty easily now. And I don't think there's any planet... Yeah, there's no fleets defending these planets right now, so if they wanted to, they can really expand into the Federation's home quadrant. That could put the Federation at their risk because their homeworld is right there. The Federation here, they're doing really well. They've got this giant chunk of land here. They actually almost have the entire central quadrant to themselves as well. They've got a little bit of the top right corner and a little bit of the bottom right corner as well, but they should be able to expand soon. They really do need to figure out how to continue putting pressure on either factions in order to expand. And, well, the Delta Shipyards has fought against them, and they easily repelled that attack. So they're doing really well on defending their central quadrant there. Up next is, well, Delta Shipyards over here. They did try to attack the Federation and failed miserably. They lost an entire battleship because of that, so that's unfortunate. They have dealt with shipyards that were being a threat to them, so of course they've dealt with the one next to their homeworld, and they dealt with the one right on the edge of their border, so they don't have to worry about the Great Red Sun Empire much anymore. Because, well, the Great Red Sun Empire, they really have to send their fleets a long way to really get to them. Unfortunately, they do have a fleet right there with a corvette, which is pretty dangerous, but as long as they can keep that at bay, they should be fine. They got fleets here. They do have, what is it? Yeah, they have a shipyard here, which they've made a pretty significant fleet at, so they're pretty good. As long as they keep that on hold, they'll be, as long as they hold on to that, they'll be fine. There's still 4 planets that need to be explored. I know that the 3 factions that can take those would be Delta, the Great Red Sun Empire, and the Federation, so they could really just fight over these 4 here, because these are unclaimed. The Pirate Empire over here, they're struggling with their defense. They're really trying to figure out what to do. From what I can tell, they're definitely trying to go back into Delta Shipyard territory, trying to take over some undefended planets, trying to regain what they had before. And of course, they're going to keep putting pressure on Delta Shipyards because they don't like their neighbor there. The Federation is also going to be a big problem because they have that planet right there, and you know that's going to put a sizable dent in their infrastructure here if they don't deal with that soon. Especially because that is a shipyard, a level 2 shipyard, so a massive fleet can be built at any moment. They have 2 fleets here ready to defend, so that's great, but you know they can just move up and take that. The Federation also has some fleets over here that are ready to attack over here, and there's nothing defending this area here, so that's not great. What I think the Pirate Empire is also trying to do is that they're trying to move one of their other fleets that's just up in the corner over here. They've moved it up, so they're either going to deal with the Federation, or they're going to try to take over the rest of Rogue Shipwrights over here. I have a feeling they're probably going to try to take the rest of Rogue Shipwrights if they move that fleet again. Mainly so that way they can begin attacking the Federation straight up to their homeworld. Which would also be really good for them, but not great for the Federation. If we look at the Great Red Sun Empire, well, their plan to attack Delta Shipyards from within kind of failed, so now they just have a fortress world in the center of that empire over there, which can't really do anything other than defend itself. I mean, if they somehow rack up the funds to actually defend that fortress world or upgrade it, that'd be fantastic, because Delta Shipyards will struggle a lot to take care of that. But of course, they've lost a lot of ground here, considering they just went straight for Delta shippers and didn't conquer any other support areas here, so they've lost their entire line there. Um, Another issue is that, well, like I said, they are trying to expand this way, which they've been really good at expanding. I mean, they've taken over almost all of the Alliance's original territory, including their former homeworld, which is amazing, but taking down this planet here is going to be a huge problem for them, because they got two giant fleets there, and that is also shipyard worlds, which can make additional fleets. And, well, I don't think the Alliance is going to be happy with the fact that they were attacked by the Great Red Sun Empire and that they're losing so much territory to them, so maybe in the next episode the Alliance is either going to send... Actually, there's a very high chance they're just going to send these fleets back and really try to push back against the Great Red Sun Empire. And because of how powerful those fleets are, the Empire is going to struggle a lot against them. So they really need to thin down those numbers somehow. They do have their new level 2 shipyard, so they can make some more powerful fleets now, so that's great. Yeah, that's about it for now. I'll see you guys in the next episode, and yeah, have a great day and take care.